picture, curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing apart. We know every part by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey, we're back. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
This is On With The Show, and today pretty much is going to be covered by one topic.
And that is?
Disney. All things Disney, because all things are going crazy over at Disney.
Our favorite topic.
Our favorite topic. We love talking about Disney because we are Disney people. If you've seen our
Travel by Nature.
Travel by Nature.
Done quite a few videos
there, yeah, with shirts and then the whole deal. We really get into ourselves. Kind of really committed to the whole Disney thing, but we're glad you're here. We hope you had a great holiday. Mm-hmm. We're glad to have you back. We're hopefully to get this in before the new year. But here's what I wanted to start off with. Apparently, Disney has now, they've issued behavior warnings to park goers as fights increase at the parks.
Interesting.
This is from the New York Post. If you have... All you have to do is like go to a TikTok and see some Karen like blowing up on a cast member about something. You know,
I remember that story where it was you moved my stroller.
Yeah.
And she absolutely lost it.
She absolutely lost it. We've seen we reported on our podcast earlier this year about two families getting into a fight about getting in line over at the what was it, the Philharmagic? And
yes,
oh my
I remember
gosh.
that.
I mean, that was just absolutely, and everything's caught on. Everybody's got a camera now, so everything's caught on, for the newest TikTok.
I mean, whenever I hear about Disneyland fights, the one that immediately pops into mind is the Toontown
fight. Oh my gosh,
from a few years ago. I'm going to jail tonight.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. So it just seems people have become unruly. Mm-hmm. They have decided that they're either going to fight with cast members or they're going to fight with each other. And don't get me wrong, we've had our moments at a Disney park when we've had to, and I think what it is when we did it, we weren't like yelling verbally, screaming obscenities. We pulled the person aside and said, we're not putting up with this anymore. But there are people, and I understand, I get it. You go to the park, you spend all this money to do this, but good golly, I mean, to just have all-out brawls between, guests is just
ridiculous.
And it's unacceptable. I mean, you basically. So here's what this is for the California park goers over here at Disneyland. The warning reads: "We ask all who come to this happy place to treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. To help guests have a safe and enjoyable experience, we regularly update our Disneyland resort rules." It goes on to say that we show common courtesy to other guests and cast members, which are employees, of course, by not using profanity or engaging in unsafe, illegal, disruptive, or offensive behavior, jumping lines, or saving places in line for others, which is a common occurrence, if you've...
Yeah, if you've ever been to any theme park, there's always every time you're in line, somebody's cutting through because their family's already in line, they had to go to the bathroom, or any other thing like that. But that's why I think it's such a stupid thing to get upset over, because it happens all the time.
It does. It happens all the time. As a matter of fact, it was interesting because I read an article just a few weeks ago about this one woman, and I'm going to say exactly what she is. She was the Karen of all Karens. Was basically, she got upset. They were in line for Splash Mountain, which will be another topic at another time.
Yes.
But she was in line for Splash Mountain, and he was behind her, and she kind of leaned back against the wall, and he thought, okay, well, and there were some people, I guess, who had friends of theirs ahead of them, so he let them by. And she got annoyed to the point where she looked at him and said, well, I was here first. I don't know why you had to left them by. And he's like, well, it's just I was being nice and kind, you know. Well, you need to be considerate of people in front of you. Yeah.
Well, maybe you need to chill out.
It went on further where they each get to the head of the line, and he gets a spot, and he gets on the ride ahead of her. And she starts throwing a fit to the cast members. I was here before him. I don't know why he has to get on the ride before I do. And she's having an argument
because of the line splits.
I think that probably is part of it. I don't know. I mean, it didn't really report about how it happened. But then not only was she getting into it with cast members, but she was also getting into it with other people in line.
Oh my goodness.
Again, I understand, you know, if you spent thousands of dollars, and by the way, they basically came out with a thing, you know, Fox News Business basically came out with an article
that people were willingly
going into
debt to go to Disney World.
But 71% of people said, yeah, we would do it again. It was that important to them, which we're like, okay, that's fine if you're willing to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're willing to
it's not my right to say what you can do with your money.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But it's just the idea that, you know, you have these people who have these crazy expectations of what they should have at Disney. And the thing of it is, and we've experienced it, we've talked to other people who've experienced it, you can't do everything at Disney. It's an impossibility to have these things in your head that, oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to eat at this restaurant, and then to find out, oh, the lines are an hour long, you can't get your lightning lane, you can't get a dining reservation, oh my gosh, our vacation is ruined. And it's only the first day. And it's like you have to kind of like chill, take a. What do we normally say when stuff happens? Remember that time when we went to California Adventure and it rained?
Yeah.
It's
I
like
remember that. That was an interesting experience.
Yeah, you sometimes have to pivot.
Yes. So just change the plan. There's no reason to, I don't know, ruin your whole day and everybody else's day for that matter because something on your itinerary couldn't be done. You know, I mean, even when it comes to that, I don't understand the whole, like, we got to schedule every single moment of our day at a theme park, like, because I just like to, I say, go with the flow.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best. You can make all the big plans. I mean, we plan on our Disney trips, not to like the minute. But it's like we plan them out. Here's what we want to do. Here's where we're going to eat. Here's the reservations we have. Yes, we got the Genie Plus. We got the lightning lanes. Sometimes you get, and it's happened to us. We get to the front of a line of a ride and it breaks down.
I still remember the time we were in line for Radiator Springs Racers. Not long after it opened.
Yep.
And there was an earthquake.
And they had to shut the ride down.
Yep.
And you know, you have no control over that. Those things happen. It's like, it goes on to say the Walt Disney World in Florida, they have a similar message encouraging guests to be the magic you want to see in the world. Yeah, that's like
Very, very generic.
Very generic. Always treat others with respect, kindness, and compassion. The park warns those who can't live up to the simple wish will be asked to leave the resort. Not the park.
The resort.
The
resort. You're not just getting kicked out of Magic Kingdom. You're getting kicked out of all of Disney.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter if you have reservations for 7 days. It's like they will help you pack up your stuff and go. And we've seen this happen. We've heard about this happening. We've heard about lifetime bans of people who have had hissy fits at the park and we're told you're never coming back. And we joke about, you know, why all of a sudden now you tell your grandkids that we can't go to Disney World because grandma, you know, threw a stroller at
one day lost her mind.
You know,
a cast member.
Yeah, a cast member, and now is no longer able to go back. I mean, there'll come a time when they'll have facial recognition to, you know,
You're going to be trying to walk through the park, trying to walk into the park, and it says, nah, 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 lifetime ban, or something like that.
Kind of like Hector and Coco who tries to get across the bridge.
Yeah, kind of.
But yeah, it talks about the large fight between two families that took place in front of Peter Pan's flight.
What's the one that happened
a
at
woman
Peter
that
Pan's
suffered
flight
a
again?
head injury. California Park experienced similar altercations, most recently with a brawl during Memorial Day weekend that resulted in the removal of several guests. I mean, it's just what it is it's gotten out of hand, and I think Disney reserves the right to be able to, what would you want to best say, to be able to serve their guests. I mean, we got nervous the one time when we were at Hollywood Studios and one of our parties was having a fit and they were dropping F-bombs and we were like, please stop. We want to,
I still remember that.
Yeah, but we got through it. I mean, it is, I will have to say this, as enjoyable as a Disney vacation is, it can be stressful.
Yes, very.
And so our best advice to give to anybody who is going on a Disney vacation is just relax, go with it,
and take a chill pill.
Take a chill pill, and you're not going to get on every ride you anticipate. In fact, the last time we went to Disneyland, we didn't go on any of the major rides due to either long lines or it was so hot that
a lot of rides were
closed
down. Like I
due to the
remember,
heat.
we couldn't do the canoes because those were closed.
Big Thunder Mountain we couldn't get on because they had closed it. We didn't even had a chance to get over to do Space Mountain. Couldn't get on Splash Mountain, which happens to be my favorite ride because the line for Splash Mountain was
incredibly long.
Hint, the line for Splash Mountain was incredibly long the way it was. That's all I'm going to say about that for right now. Anyway, it is time for us to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to have more Disney news concerning how it currently ranked as one of the wokest companies in America.
Really?
Yep. And apparently there were some behind-the-scenes shenanigans going on behind Bob Chapek's back. So we'll get to that right after this break. I am Goose.
I am Logan.
We are traveled by nature. That being said, I'm Goose.
I am Logan.
This is Travel by Nature. Thank you for watching.
Tired, I am sore, and I just want to go to bed.
And you can do that after you take a shower.
I can take a shower in the morning.
No, you can take one now.
I don't even smell that bad.
Oh, really? You smell like a combination of body odor and butt crack, and I'm not sleeping next to that. once in a while.
As tempting as all that sounds, I'd rather go to bed. Honey, what's wrong? Half the crew is at the bar. At least I'm here.
That's just it. Even when you're here, you're not. You're either too tired or too preoccupied.
Hey, we're back. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
Well, this is still on with the show. We have coming into it with another interesting Disney thing that has popped up. Comes from InsideTheMagic.net. It says Disney makes worst of the woke list for the second year in a row. Which you would think that they would have learned. That what's the phrase? What's the phrase it says? It's,
Go woke, go broke.
go woke, go broke. Yep.
As can be seen by the disastrous release of their most recent movie, Strange World.
Strange World.
More on that in a minute.
We'll talk a bit about it in the next segment. It says the last 2 years haven't been particularly kind to the Walt Disney Company. Poor decision-making, global pandemic, and a string of controversies surrounding the company, the Disney parks, Disney Animation Studios, and more continue to plague the brand. Fans have voiced their opinions on social media and have rather intense takes on Disney's wokeness. Over the past few years, Disney has been embroiled in the political drama. Disney has been accused of being too inclusive. Too inclusive. According to some fans at times, and has been blamed as a leader in the cancel culture movement. Due to this viewpoint, some Americans, the New Tolerance campaign, worst of the woke list, has decided to include the Walt Disney Company in its top 10 ranking for the second year in a row.
Just out of
According
curiosity,
to
do you
the
know
report.
what the other businesses were
Let me see if I can
on the
find
list?
it. Let me see if I can find that. I don't think it has it on this particular article.
Yeah, I'll look it up later.
We can look it up later, but matter of fact, but it's just. Does it surprise you?
No.
No. I mean,
Not only do they have, what was it, that one thing about Strange World where it was that one tweet where it was like how inclusive the movie was. Even the dog is disabled.
Yeah, it's
As well as we're closing Splash Mountain because of its ties to Song of the South and how Splash Mountain's so racist and all that. Which, going back, I thought that was very performative when they had initially announced it back in 2020.
Yeah, I mean,
It was very reactionary. It didn't feel like they actually had plans before that moment to change it, even though they said these plans have been in development for years to retheme it to Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
which is interesting because if you look at both stories, I mean, Princess and the Frog was written by Hans Christian Andersen. Logan, tell people where Hans Christian Andersen was from.
From Denmark.
He was from Denmark. He was like white. He was like whiter than me. He was like whiter than him. I mean, from Denmark. All right. If everything we know about Joel Chandler Harris is that his father, I guess, owned a plantation that had slaves, and his father told him, Joel Chandler Harris, to go out and work with the slaves, which he did, and he preferred the slaves over his own family as far as company is concerned, and he sat around all these slaves to learn and be engrossed in their culture and in their, what's the word I'm looking for, their mythology, their all their parables, all that stuff, their history, and he wrote about it, and he wrote about it in the language that is from that era.
And Joel Chandler Harris, if you're unaware, was the author of the Uncle Remus stories.
Yep.
which served as the basis for Song of the South, with like stories of Brer Rabbit and all that.
which served as the backstory for Song of the South, or I'm sorry, Splash Mountain as it is right now. Why do we bring this up? Because it seems that Disney is doing desperately as they can to run away from any kind of controversy whatsoever. What is it? I mean, just to close this little thing up, basically Tiana was the first black Disney princess from a story that was written by a white Danish man to basically cover up the slave stories from a white guy that lived with the slaves. Am I getting this correct?
Yes. Yeah, I know it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it's, you know, it's a little CYA here. You know what I'm saying? That Disney's just trying to run away. I guess one person brought up the fact that during the all the protests that were going on, they were scared that they were going to get a large group of people protesting outside their gates. So hey, we need to take care of this now before, you know, it gets worse. And then when they really stepped in it, had to really figure out how they were actually going to retheme it. I mean, God help them. They're about to destroy probably the best ride they have in the park.
Yeah.
All because a bunch of white liberals, bunch of white woke people said it was a bad story. Anyway, we're getting we're getting off the rails just a little bit here, but it just seems like that Disney has been doing their best to what's the word I'm looking for? They're doing their best to try to appease everybody.
And trying their best to appease the very, very small
minority of
vocal
people
minority
that most don't. I mean, obviously, by Strange World, they didn't even go out to see it. I mean, if they did go out to see it, there wasn't enough of them to warrant continuing to do this type of entertainment. Disney is an entertainment company. Disney, you are an entertainment company. You're not anything else. You're supposed to entertain the masses. And unfortunately, the masses are telling you that you are going in a direction that is going to, what is it again? Go woke.
Go broke. Yeah, speaking of the vocal minority, I thought it was interesting when you look at the different petitions to retheme or save Splash Mountain. The Save Splash Mountain has way more signatures
Was it
than
like 5 times more?
Yeah, about that. 5 times more signatures than the retheme Splash Mountain petition did.
And those who keep saying online that it's like this is going to be great this would be great. Are they going to go to the park? Are they going to spend any money in the park?
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, and I think that in this woke direction was the biggest reason why Bob Chapek was released, because he kept going down a rabbit hole that everybody kept telling him was a bad idea. I think it's just been rumored that I think it's Christine McCarthy is going to be, this is one Bob Iger has picked to replace him in 2 years, and he's going to groom her to be able to, which I thought that's what he was doing with Bob Chapek. But, you know, I mean, Bob Chapek became the CEO.
And as we all know, it did not go well at all.
Bob Iger stayed around to try to make sure that everything was good, but he eventually left. And of course, after he left, I mean, the wheels completely came off.
Price hikes every single week.
It became a disaster.
Parks in disrepair.
Yes, let me get involved in Florida politics. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
As well as screwing with the books.
Yeah.
With Disney Plus's success.
It seemed like it's been rumored and it's been reported that Bob Iger was continuing to run Disney behind Chapek's back. He was actually calling in Chapek's executives for private meetings, behind Chapek's back. A lot of people are saying that when he finally announced they were going to they were going to have firings, that was it. Basically, Bob Chapek had lost the confidence of the board, the stockholders, and all the executives, and he was done. And, say what you want about Bob Chapek. He was pretty crappy as far as a CEO for this company. I mean, he was known as a guy who cut costs and raised prices. I mean, even Michael Eisner wasn't that bad. Michael Eisner, he cut costs because, he was trying to make things happen and realized, oh my gosh, we don't have the money to do it because of whatever was going on at the time. And basically said, well, let's just finish this up and we'll fix it later. Unfortunately, it ended up being Bob Iger that fixed Michael Eisner's mistakes. But, I mean, when your stock is like tanking and you've lost the confidence of everybody there, it's only a matter of time before
you get the boot.
you get the boot.
So now let's just see what Bob Iger can do to, I guess, restore Chapek's disastrous tenure.
I don't know if he's going to restore his tenure. I think he's going to probably tear down as much as he can.
The first thing you should do is definitely lower the ticket prices, because that was
Yeah,
probably the number one most disliked thing Bob Chapek did.
I mean, I understand they're going to be continue to do ticket prices for the most. Well, I mean, obviously during the holidays, because that's when everybody wants to go to Disney. I mean, yeah, you probably have the most expensive tickets, but I think sooner or later they're going to have to fix the Magic Key issue. They're going to have to fix the Disney Plus issue, or they're going to have to fix the Genie Plus issue.
I'm actually surprised they didn't get sued for the Magic Key.
They did.
Oh wow!
They did. It's still in court. I think that's one of the other reasons why Bob Chapek was fired was because this whole thing with the Magic Key was ridiculous. I mean, it was
not only are you spending a god awful amount of money on these Magic Keys, but then it's like you go to reserve your day at the parks, and you've only got an incredibly limited amount of days you can choose. So I think that was part of his whole, we're limiting who can come to the parks. Because, of course, Magic Key holders who come to the park more often, apparently Chapek didn't like that because they don't spend as much money
according to him
as Bob and Becky, who go to Disneyland every 5 years.
Because that's all they can afford. And because they're going into debt to do so. They were sued. I mean, because one of the things they were promised as far as Magic Keys is concerned is that
you can go anytime you
want. They're the top tier. You can go anytime you want. There's no restrictions, and then you go to get your reservation, and
you can't go.
You can't go. And then you have famous YouTubers like Adam the Woo and Provost Park Pass are coming out and saying this was a raw deal. It would have been easier if we just gotten single day tickets, because at least we could get into the park. The whole thing is a mess. But I think they do need to address the Magic Key holder issue. They need to address the Disney Plus issue. They need to address the Genie Plus issue. They need to address the prices. They need to address the reservation system. They need to address. Do we want to talk about what we just found out about the Galactic Star Cruiser?
Yeah.
Let's
talk about that.
Let's talk real quick.
Heard about that. It was from TPM Viz talking about the best and worst things at Disney parks. And Galactic Star Cruiser was, I guess, very hit or miss.
Yeah, it's very people who go there. People who go there love it. They love the immersion. They love being there. But they're finding out that through September of 2023, that 95% of reservations are still open. Because
it's so expensive. It's like, you only get like a 2-day stay, and it's like $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I'd say, atrocious.
At least 2 days stay.
Because I mean, I know it's a very, very immersive experience, but they said the rooms were small,
The food was mediocre. Food was mediocre, which is, which if you're gonna have, and not only that, my whole issue would be that you can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave. You're there for at least 2 days. You're there in the hotel for at least 2 days. Which, if I'm going to be at a hotel for 2 days, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there to relax.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the pool. I'm going to drink down some buds, and or Pabst Blue Ribbons and just enjoy my time. I'm not going to be like, hey, we got to go do the Jedi thing. We got to go do the Wookiee thing, and I don't know what they do there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I'm more to people who are
huge Star Wars
fan, because that's obviously who this is catered towards. But it's very niche.
It's very niche. I mean, yeah.
Where it's like you're building this super incredibly immersive experience, and you're gonna only have like a very limited amount of people, which makes sense why the booking dates are so open.
I go to Disney World to go to Disney World.
Mm-hmm. Not to stay at the hotel.
Not to stay at the hotel for 2 or 3, 4 days, or whatever it is. That, I mean, I understand the concept. I mean, I think it's a great concept. But you're right. It's only for a certain niche of people that love Star Wars and want to be really involved in the whole thing. I mean, I'm the kind of dude that's going to be like, hey, let's go get... The whole thing is I want to go to the parks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there at Disney World to go to the parks. I'm not necessarily going to be there to spend my entire time
At the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Galactic Star Cruiser, But yeah, I think they've got an interesting problem they're going to have to fix with that. Great idea. I think you'll eventually make money on it, but you got a lot of stuff to fix there.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the big, again, with the last segment we just talked about, where they're having problems with customers, they've got to be able to fix this perception of their company. I don't have any problem of having inclusion, but I got to agree that when it's too inclusive, when you're trying to find that,
It's like when you're ticking a box more than you're actually just trying to write new stories, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and we've been told that actually Strange World is actually pretty good, but there had to have been a reason why
it tanks so hard.
tanks so bad, because usually when a Disney movie comes out around Thanksgiving, it's a massive
usually
hit.
a massive success, but not Strange World.
Not Strange World.
I can't remember how much it made in its entire run in the theater. Yeah, it's done. It's run in the theaters now. It's on Disney Plus. So I don't know what it grossed, but it was still very under expectations.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney Plus, we're going to talk about that on our next segment when we come back after this break. We'll be with you. Again, I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
This is On With The Show. We'll be right with you after this break.
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, sorry I missed the funeral. I couldn't miss work.
That's alright, I need your help with something.
So what's with the trunk? Ooh!
I can't believe she gave you the house. I did everything for her. Cooked, cleaned.
And rob her blind.
I only took what I deserved. She owed it to me.
So why did you call me? I need your help to get rid of it.
What makes you think I can help?
Your grandma was a wonderful person. She used to always tell me, Ellen, how you having Danny, so make it a good one.
What is that?
What does it look like?
I don't know. I've never seen it before.
Well, maybe we could burn it. No, and then the fire department will be here in minutes.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. That woman wasn't that pure.
Remember what she told us, Gary. All you have is your name.
Hey, we're back. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
This is On With The Show, and we're now going to be talking a little bit about Disney Plus because during the break, the holiday break, I got a chance to sit back and watch some stuff off of Disney Plus. And I have to talk about, we talked about Strange World. I wasn't surprised. Actually, scratch that. I was kind of surprised that Strange World had like made the leap from the theaters to Disney Plus so fast because it had only been out for a month. Yeah, a month. Which is usually the indication of the movie tanks so bad, we need to figure out a way to get our revenue back. Yeah, our money back. But I watched two particular shows, or actually three particular shows, and that were, two were Christmas themed and one wasn't. Let me go with the one that wasn't Christmas themed. And it was one of the latest Marvel TV shows called She-Hulk. Have you seen She-Hulk?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't watched the whole series, but I've just seen all the parts. Everybody's talking about how bad it is.
It's
especially like the CGI.
The CGI is absolutely atrocious. It's horrible. Let me just start off with, first of all, I love Tatiana Maslany. I think she's a great actress. If you've not seen her before She-Hulk, she did a great show called Orphan Black, where she played multiple parts, multiple roles, and I mean, she was just amazing. I like her in this. The problem is the writing is so bad, and the CGI is horrible. The CGI is atrocious. When she's She-Hulk, the hair looks like a wig. It looks like a wig. It doesn't move like hair.
And this is coming from like the richest company in the entire world.
Universe, yeah.
And their CGI does not, I guess, meet the standards you'd expect from a company that big.
It feels like let me go with this even further. When she's close up, she looks normal. When you pull back and you get like a full body, and she's walking downstairs or doing all that, she looks like one of those NPCs from a video game. She's so stiff, and it looks like she's a video game character with the head and the face of She-Hulk that's talking. It looks really bad. One of the interesting things though is that when she's fighting, it looks like they upgraded the CGI for when she does fight, but when she's just doing normal things, it doesn't look right. It looks like an NPC, and so it's hard to get yourself around that. When you're looking at, you're watching the story and you're like, and you can't get around to her, the stiff walk and the movements that just don't look right. They don't look right. And the hair, again, looks like a wig. It doesn't flow right. It doesn't go right. It looks like it almost looks like they tried to find someone right out of college to put the CGI together. And I'm trying to be nice with this because I don't know how much they spent on it. The whole series is just her struggling with I'm a lawyer. I know you're a Hulk too, but I don't want to be a Hulk. well, you can't, it doesn't matter. You're a Hulk. You have to, and then she has to, and then when she gets a job in a law firm, and she has to be She-Hulk the whole time she's working on, and she finds out that no one's interested in her for her. They're all interested in her as She-Hulk, and she's a celebrity as She-Hulk, and she's real uncomfortable about it, and she's defending this person and defending this person, and it's like it's all about, and I get it. There aren't a whole lot of episodes where she's like fighting or anything. There are a few, and the fight scenes look pretty good. It looks like they took extra time to make sure those worked really well, which is kind of a shame because you wish that they'd taken time
they would have taken that type of care for the rest of the show. As well.
You do see, you see Mark Ruffalo, who didn't give away anything.
Surprise.
You see Benedict Wong as Wong. You see Charlie Cox comes in and debuts as Daredevil. That's really cool. I really liked that idea, that concept. But the problem is that they brought in a villain called Hulk King.
Hulk King?
Yeah, 2 words. Hulk King. And it's kind of like, he's the head of this anonymous kind of organization that wants to bring down She-Hulk, and they have this website, and it's like, okay, and they don't spend enough time developing that villain. And the biggest disappointment, of course, is the finale. The finale is bad. The finale, the series finale, or the season finale is horrible. So let me give you an idea, because I'm going to spoil this for you. If you have not seen She-Hulk, I'm going to spoil it for you. It's finally revealed who Hulk King is. And he has this group at a retreat that is run by Emil Blonsky, who is Abomination. And Jessica Walters gets Abomination out on his, and so he goes there and he's going to give this speech to the group, and and so she ends up getting there because she's fired again and she doesn't know what to do with her life, and she shows up, and all of a sudden she sees the Hulk King, and she sees Abomination, who is Abomination. He's not supposed to be Abomination. He's supposed to be Emil Blonsky. Part of his parole, but he's Abomination. She's like, hey, and all of a sudden the dude who is like the Hulk King has her blood, injects himself with her blood. He becomes the Hulk, a Hulk, and you're like, okay, this is going somewhere. And then all of a sudden, out of all different places, you have all the different, villains that she's faced, and the Hulk, Bruce Banner, comes back after being out in outer space, and this is confusing as shit.
I'm trying to follow along, but
and she's like, wait, whoa, stop! And all of a sudden, honest to God, it goes to a Disney Plus, like the home screen. Where She-Hulk comes out and she's She-Hulk and she punches it out, and she's like, I'm gonna go and talk to the people who wrote this, and honest to God, goes into another panel and pops it open, and she's like walking along, the Disney animation studios trying to figure out this is where it's going. And she gets to the writer's room, and they're like, well, this is the ending we come up with you, and Kevin wrote the ending, and Kevin, blah, 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 blah. You know who Kevin is, right?
Yeah, Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige. Only Kevin Feige isn't Kevin Feige, and this Kevin Feige is a like Tony Stark type robot that comes with all the writing. And he's like, well, what would you want to have well, I would, I want a meal. I wouldn't want Bruce there, and I want a meal to pay for his friend. And I think you have the thing with the Hulk King, and everything goes back to no fight, no battle, no acceptance that she's a Hulk, nothing. It is one of the worst written finales I've ever seen.
I have a question. So, you said the ending's, I guess, meta. Like she's watching her own show.
Right.
Did they set that up at any other point in She-Hulk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, it just.
And matter of fact,
out of nowhere.
matter of fact, the episode before this, she sits there. She goes, "This feels like the finale. I thought this was the finale. This isn't the finale. Oh, I guess. Yeah. She breaks the fourth wall constantly, which I don't mind. And it's kind of meta where she realizes, yeah, she's in a. But the finale's god awful.
And also, it just doesn't make sense. Like, so, this is She-Hulk watching a show she was in, right? And that doesn't make sense that she only sees the ending when she's watching it. And that's when she decides to have I'm going to see Kevin, make him rewrite this.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and that doesn't make sense, because it's like, well, why didn't you just do it?
Not only that, they spend like the first episode or two with her and Bruce, like, and he's training her to be a Hulk and all this other stuff, and I'm like, oh, this, and I'm thinking to myself, when the dude injects himself with the blood and he starts to become a Hulk himself, I'm thinking, oh, this ought to be good. Mm-hmm. She's going to become a Hulk, and she's going to, like, you know, he's going to challenge her, and she's going to be like, well, I had all this training, I should be able to beat his ass without a problem, and Emil steps in his abomination and tries to take him, and all of a sudden he gets hurt. Oh, I got to take him out. Blah blah blah. That would have been great. We needed some type of battle instead of what we got. And it just. I mean, I understand the concept. She was someone. She didn't want to be Hulk, but she had to be She-Hulk. And, you know, she wanted to just be a regular person, a regular lawyer, and all this other stuff. And she's finding that people don't want her for her. They want her as She-Hulk. I get all that. But the thing was just bad. All around, it was bad. Compare it to the Santa Clauses, which was really good.
I still got to watch that. I've been meaning to watch it for a while.
You bring Tim Allen back as Santa Claus, and he has an existential crisis and decides, you know, I'm going to retire. And he comes to find out that, you know, and he hands it over to someone who really wasn't worthy of being Santa Claus. And I'm not going to give away, because I want you to see this. You don't need to see She-Hulk because
it's so bad.
Because it's that bad. But, you know, and it brings back some new characters. And it's just, what's even crazy, it's 6 episodes. They're all about a half hour long. So you can watch the whole thing in like one sitting. In 3 hours. You can watch the whole thing in an afternoon. And it's very lighthearted. And it's very, you know, it brings in the spirit of Christmas. It brings in, you know, that something we've all had in our lives, which is that one crisis where we feel like things aren't going right and we're a failure, and maybe it's time for us to move on to something else. It is one of those things where it can relate to a lot of different people, and it brings in the Christmas spirit. I mean, for me, I loved watching it. I love Tim Allen. I think he, even at this age now, he's got so much more to give to his audience, and I'm glad that he came back after being away for so long. You know, I mean, let's all be honest. The Santa Claus 3 was not stellar. It was one of those movies that kind of fell on its face, but to come back and to do this show, especially for Disney Plus, I think really shows the relationship he has with the Disney company, despite the different directions that they are politically. But, and then on top of that, I don't know if you haven't had a chance to see the Santa Claus yet, have you?
No, I have not. I mean, I got to watch the Santa Claus again for Christmas, but unfortunately I have not gotten around to watching the TV series yet.
And it's great. I mean, it's interesting because we watched the movie and then to see this You know, kind of like, oh yes, you see where it all starts and where it's all going to go. And then I got a chance to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That I did get to see.
Oh my gosh,
it was
that
really
was
good.
that was so funny. It was hysterical, and it was a way to really bring in the Christmas spirit with two characters who've never experienced Christmas, and the fact that you had Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that was funny.
In
So,
there.
if you're not aware, it's like the plot surrounds something like Star-Lord wants
Yeah.
to meet Kevin Bacon
Well,
for Christmas.
for something, it's basically, he's bummed, and about how things are going. He misses Gamora, and it's about Christmas time on Earth. And they say, hey, let's give Peter a great Earth Christmas, and we'll give him Kevin Bacon as a gift. Yeah, that's about it. And so Drax and
Mantis go and kidnap Kevin Bacon.
It's funny. It is so good. I mean, just to see the two of them in Hollywood walking around, and it's like they end up having to blend in with all those people and
all the street performers.
Street performers, and it's like they're taking pictures with people. They're like,
why is people giving me money?
But it was so good. It was really funny. Again, it's only a half hour long, and it has some great music. Kevin Bacon performs. If you don't know, Kevin Bacon does have his own band with his brother, and it's really good. It's really well done, and I think it kind of gets you in the Christmas mood and makes you yearn for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is coming out later this year, and we're super excited about it.
Yeah.
We're super excited about it. All right, that's it for the show this week. Logan, if they want to check us out anywhere else, where they go?
If you want to find all the links to our social medias, you can find them at withkoji.com/@travelbynature. There you can find the links to our other podcast, Wrestling Boys, as well as our YouTube channel, Travel by Nature, our Instagram page for Travel by Nature, and our TikTok. And we also have an Ask Me Anything tab and a tip jar, if you're so generous.
Yeah, we're having a good time with that. And if they want to help out the channel, what will they do?
You can hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share to your friends.
Yeah, share it out to your friends. Leave us a comment. Makes us smile. But from here at On With The Show Studios here in Bakersfield, California, I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
This is On With The Show. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.
Overture, curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.